Hey, welcome back to the channel. Got a little something on the bench for you here. So we got a brand new Mobula6 and we got the Betafpv transmitter. So we're going to use this radio. We're going to bind it up to this brand new Mobula6. I'm going to go through a couple other little things. We're going to jump on the Betaflight. And yeah, so let's check it out. Let's get these things to work. Alright, so real quick here, I just want to let you know that we're working with an Frsky. You see that? So Frsky receiver, okay? Not FlySky, but Frsky. If it's FlySky, it's not going to work. And I'm choosing the race edition over here under the label. It's just regular 19,000. There is also an option you can get an ELRS. You can get your Mobula6 and ELRS. Not going to work. So for this video, we need an Frsky receiver built into our Mobula6. Not sure what else to say about that. Alright, so we're going to turn our radio on. As soon as you hear the zip zip, then you look there. Do you see that? 2, 3. 3 purple lights. Let me do it again. Let me zoom in for you here. So focus your attention right here. Let me turn it on. Alright. 1, 2, 3. 3 purple blinks and a blue light. That means that this transmitter is ready to go D8. Inside here is a D8 receiver. There's a guide. I'll try to remember to put a link on here for you to push these buttons in sequence so that you can get it into D8 mode. Let me zoom out. Alright, so the D8 mode is for the D8 receiver. This is SPI D8 receiver that's in this quadcopter. So this is D8 ready. We're going to power up the quadcopter and we're going to bind these two together. Alright, so let's take a look and see what's in the box. So we have our quadcopter. These are some garbage batteries. I never had any luck with them. This is my fourth Mobula6, and these batteries have always came either dead or they wouldn't hold a charge very long. But imagine that, where it's stored voltage there. This little checker, if you're going to be flying little whoops, it's a good thing to have one of these checkers. I'll try to put a link in the description for the one I got. A friend of mine showed me his and I liked it quite well, and seems pretty accurate. And I've used a voltage meter to check it. So all these are storage voltage, so that's good. None of them are dead. Comes with the little charging board that takes forever. I have a video. I'll try to put it up here. How do I charge my 1S LiPo batteries? Because you know you're going to want a ton of them. So I'll try to remember to put a link up there. Get some propellers. Looks like an extra motor screw. So that's kind of nice. They should have put like 5 of them in there. Oh, there's 2 of them. A couple of frame screws. So 2 motor screws and 2 frame screws. That's kind of cool. And then a little Phillips screwdriver. A little sticker. 2 stickers, and full color brochure. And they have put everything in here. The only problem with this that I see is people get confused because they're not sure what they're dealing with. They kind of threw everything on one manual. So, you know, good stuff in there. So let's go ahead and throw some of this back in here. I'm going to keep my LiPos out. I put those in a LiPo guard bag. If you ever had a LiPo fire in your life, you'll take guards against it. The thing's got a lot of energy. Alright, so we have our quadcopter. The first thing I want to do is I just want to check it. Before I plug a LiPo in, and especially before I go plugging this into my computer, I just want to check to make sure there's no shorts. So we're going to grab our multimeter, and we're going to go up here to diode and continuity. I'm going to choose the continuity function. Oh, let me get my screen. Now can you see it? Sorry about that. And I'm just going to check my power lead here. I'm just putting my lead on the USB barrel. The USB barrel is ground. And I'm going to come over here to hot. And I'm checking to make sure there's nothing. If it goes like that when you touching the hot lead, then you got a problem. Don't plug this into your computer, and don't plug a LiPo into it. Alright, so we know we don't have any issues with it frying us. You know, we're not going to see smoke when we plug in a LiPo. This is a LiPo that I like using. There's a bunch of them out there. There's more opinions out there than there are LiPos. So this is the one that I like. And what I'm listening for when I plug this in, I want to hear all 3 chirps and then 2 more chirps. Okay. Do I need to, let me get that up to the microphone. Now, you heard how clean that was? If you hear a stutter or you don't hear those last 2 things of that nature, box it back up and get the vendor to send you a new one. I wouldn't even mess with it. I'm really kind of tired of getting things that don't work out of the box, or seeing other people that get things that don't work out of the box. Send it back. Get a new one. But we got all the chimes, and they were nice and crisp. There wasn't any stuttering or any other issues with the flight controller communication with the ESC and so forth. The other thing is, when you're working on one of these dudes, you need a fan. I have a special fan that I use just for quadcopter bench stuff and electronics that I'm working on for people. I have a fan blowing on this. This thing gets really hot. When you have this powered up either by LiPo or also plugged into your computer, the VTX built into this gets super hot. I mean, super hot. So I like to keep a fan on it. So the whole time we're working on this thing, I'm going to have this fan. Now, as far as binding this up, we're going to turn on our transmitter. We're going to make sure that we have our 3 purple lights, so we know we're in D8 mode. On the quadcopter, there's a boot button right there. And then if you look over here next to the red motor tab, there's a bind button. Let me see that. That's the bind button right there. You have to push in on that. And I wouldn't use anything sharp, but you can depress that, and that will activate the binding process for your SPI receiver that's built in. You see right through here it says boot. Well, it's upside down, but you get the idea. That is the button to update your firmware to go into DFU mode in your Betaflight, but we're not going to mess with that in this video. We are going to plug it in, and we're going to save our dump file. I recommend doing that for sure. And then you can see here, that's the flight controller, the Crazy Bee F4 FR Lite. Alright, so plug in our quadcopter. I'm ready to connect with the boot button. You can see here that we have a blinking, kind of a pulsating red and a pulsating green next to it. Probably hard to see the green one because it's so light compared to the red. But they're just pulsating both equally. I'm going to press the bind button. See that blinking? Let me see if I can show you. See how that's rapidly blinking? And it only does that. It's so aggravating. This thing only binds for just a short period of time. See how long that is? You have to quickly get done with what you're doing. Alright, so while we were binding, I just depressed the bind button on the quadcopter, and now it's a solid red with a pulsating green. I don't know if you can see the green kind of pulsating behind it. It all looks red because that red light's so bright. Now I'm going to unplug the quadcopter. Okay. And then plug it back in. You can see that it's bound. See how it's solid red and then a pulsating green. Okay. So now we're going to take our USB cable, and I like to use a 90 degree for this little guy. Before we plug it into the computer, I'm going to go ahead and turn this fan on. Alright, so we're over here to the computer. We're going to go ahead and plug in the quadcopter. And you can see up here we have COM port 4. So it changed. And we're going to go ahead and connect to the quadcopter. And now I'm just going to move the quadcopter around on the bench. I'm going to pitch the quadcopter forward. I'm going to pitch it back. I'm going to pitch it side to side. So everything looks good there. If you don't get any movement out of your quadcopter here, then that's a problem. Okay. And I just want to go straight. Oops. All right. So we'll go over here to ports tab. Everything looks set up here. Smart audio. The VTX that's built into this is smart audio. Everything else looks good. SPI built-in receiver. The manufacturer says not to tick one of these, but if you're using an external receiver, then you might want to tick one of these. But that's not for this video. All right. So D-Shot 600 seems a little high for me. Motor idle at 10. Wow, that seems really high. 8K seems really high. I'm going to change the craft name. Arming at 180 degrees. That way you can arm it if it's sitting sideways on something. And then SPI Rx support is already chosen. And then Frsky D. So that should be D8. If it's Frsky X, then that would be D16. But we're using a D8 protocol on our radio, our Betaflight, our Betafpv radio. So looks like quite a few things set up in here. I'm probably going to change some stuff, but for now I'm not going to mess with anything. Just go to receivers tab. Since we have these things, let me just slow down a little bit. But since we have our receiver protocol chosen here, and we know that our ports tab is correct here, the way they say in the manual to do it, then we know that we should be able to see a receiver in the quadcopter should be, ready to go. So let me take my transmitter here, and so I have my throttle up, throttle down. You see that pitch moving? So that's not right. I'm throttling up, throttling down. I'm pitching forward, pitching back. Do you see roll? It rolls moving. So that's no good. And let me see here. So the channel map is set on a different channel map than we use. So here we change it, and then we have to go to save. So see the quadcopter stop moving around, flipping in circles and stuff. So now we can run our throttle up and down, yaw side to side. Look at that little model down there. And then pitch forward, pitch back. Okay. Roll. Oops. Now you see it completely stopped. That's because the radio and the quadcopter are too close together. So I'm going to move my radio further away. Alright, so pitch up and down, roll side to side. Now look at the model. I can actually correct the orientation of that by using my stick movements. Let me yaw a little bit and then pitch down. You see, I can fly it. So I'm rotating up and then down and then back. See that little model right there flying around? If you can't control that with smooth stick movements, then you got a problem. Okay, so all the way down, all the way up. you can see that my wonderful Betafpv transmitter isn't very good quality. All the way down, it's kind of jumping around on yaw. I'm not moving anything, it's doing that. The transmitter, I can see that when I'm in simulation, that this Betafpv radio is, oh, we'll just say it doesn't have Hall effect gimbals. Okay, so we're going to save, so we know that works. Now we're going to flip switch number 1. Okay, so we have our switches here. Now all of these are preset in the radio. Okay, oh, I lost it. Let me move it back out of the way. So each one of these switches, so you have this switch is for, in my screen it's showing up for AUX 2, and then for this one, this is showing up as AUX 1, and then over here this switch is AUX 3, and this switch is AUX 4. So this is already set up already. There's no modifications in here, but what we can do is in modes tab. So we'll go over here to modes tab, and you see arming here. So it doesn't matter what switch you want to use, okay? Whatever switch you want to use. So you go over here to auto, and then I like my arming switch on the top one all the way up. So you can choose whatever you want, but see here, I'm armed right now. So if I hit save, this is disabled because it's plugged into the computer. The Betaflight devs are not going to allow you to, arm your quadcopter while it's sitting on the bench. So this is disabled. So we should be okay though. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the switch down. Do you see this little grain right here? This little, watch what happens to him when we flip the switch. If you don't have these movements, okay, then something ain't right. Angle mode, if we want to fly angle or acro. So right now I can go to auto and then choose the switch that I want to use. Make sure your radio is not too close to your quadcopter. While I'm trying to film this for you, I've got it too close, so it quits talking to each other. Okay. So angle mode is, I would like to have angle mode in the all the way down position. So it's on now, and then if I want to fly acro, it'll be in either one of these modes. There is horizon, but I don't use it. It just fights you the whole time, and it's kind of a pain. I fly angle all the time though. And then I want to fly acro outside or something, so I want to get I don't see air mode in here. So let me go ahead and save this, and we're gonna jump. Oh, I totally forgot to have it turned on here. So air mode, I'll turn that off. I don't like air mode on it all the time. Permanently enabled on a whoop doesn't make any sense to me, because if you bump into something, the air mode is just going to go nuts. The eye gain is going to go crazy. So I just turn air mode off here. I'm going to save that, and then reconnect, go to modes, and now we should have air mode as one of our options. So we'll add range, and then we'll go back up and hide these. Okay, so now with the beeper, I want the beeper on number 2, and I want it in the middle. So when I arm the quadcopter, I'm going to go all the way to the end of that. But if I'm halfway, I can have my beeper on, so I can hear it if it's hidden behind the couch or something. And then also air mode. I want air mode on the bottom right switch, which is the SD switch. So if I want to, I can turn it on. Right now it's off. I have the switch all the way down, so AUX 4, which is on this transmitter, is SD. When it's all the way down, air mode is off. If I flip air mode on or flip the switch up, then air mode comes on. So if I'm flying outside or in a big area where I want to do some chopping the throttle maneuvers, I'll have authority in the air. But if I'm flying through chairs and table legs and stuff like that, I don't want to bump into things, so I want it off. Because you bump into something with air mode on, the quadcopter will suck against the wall. It's aggravating. And then flip over when crash. So I'm going to use the SA switch. So let's choose auto, and then I'm going to flip the SA switch up. So we're gonna, the switch is save, and then the switch is up. So that's turtle mode. And then I'm gonna switch down. That turns it off. Okay, so save that. We're done in here. We're ready to fly it. But before we do anything else, there might be some OSD stuff that you want and don't want. See all this stuff? I honestly, you could flip all these things on and not even see where you're going. I'm not really going to fly this very far, so I'm not going to worry about RSSI. I'm not going to worry about a lot of these things. This is really something that's your choice. What do you want to do? Okay. I do like having my average cell voltage, because these lipos, you know, you can fly them down to 3.2, and then when they rest, they'll be 3.6. Let me see. The other thing I like is an arm timer, so I can see how long I've been armed. There's 2 different timers. I like to have my name and my channel, so if someone's racing with me, they can see my channel. And then I also like to know whether if I'm in acro or angle. So those are the things that I'll set up on here. So battery average cell. I don't really care about amp draw. Current draw don't make no sense to me on this. I do want my craft name. I do want to know if it's disarmed. Fly mode. Let me see. So when we plug in, you want to have your goggles on when you're moving these around. You can choose what you want first. RSSI value, I don't care. Throttle position, I don't care. Timer 2 is fly minutes, and then timer 3. Let me see here. So timer 1 is how long the quadcopter has been plugged in. I personally don't care. Warnings, I like to keep that on in case it's getting too hot. It'll blink and say it's about to burn up, because sometimes they don't start the race in time and you're sitting there burning up and don't even know it. So I'm going to hit save on that, and then here's where you put your goggles on, because now it's time to move things around. And then you can kind of fit them in your goggles where you want. Oh, we forgot our VTX channel. That's nice for when you're racing. People can see what channel you're on. They see your name, and then they see the channel right here. We'll hit save again. Put my channel up, so that tells you what VTX channel you're on. All right, hit save, and then I'm going to go to CLI, and I'm going to click here. I'm going to go dump. So DUMP, enter, and now all of this information is what we need to copy. Now you can put that in a note file or whatever you want to do. I put it in a note file. So if anything goes wrong with your quadcopter and this information, you have a backup file. The quadcopter comes at 357, and you can play around with updating if you want. 357's a perfect version for me. I really don't care. Either way, I have them on 4.2. I have them on 3.7, and like I said, there's as many opinions as there are versions. So 3.57 is good with me, and I'll go ahead and save this file. So we're done on the computer for now. That'll get you in the air. All right, so we're back over here at the bench, and we've had this on for a while. I have this plugged into the computer. We'll go ahead and unplug them. All right, turn off our fan. And now we'll go ahead and put a lipo in. Now, for me, the lipos that I have are a little bit loose. Some of these have it's kind of annoying. So I stretch a rubber band from right here all the way around to there, and then it sets down inside there. So let me grab one real quick. All right, so I got a little baggie of these little, I don't know if you want to call them a rubber band. They're like a thin, I don't know if you want to call them a rubber band, but we use these for our daughter's hair until we realized that these things like rip the hair out. It's terrible. So I got them now on the quadcopters, but I just take that over and around here, and it has just enough I don't know, rubberization or skid to it. Oops, let me not bend my motor wires over. All right, does that kind of give you an idea what I do? And then that way, when I put my, when I put my LiPo in, I can angle it up and then down, and then it skids across that rubber band. That dude ain't coming out now. Crash all you want, it's going to stay put. And then I carry a bunch of those little rubber bands. So we'll go ahead and plug in our quadcopter. And then, like I said, if the radio and the quadcopter are really close together, sometimes the quadcopter doesn't know that it's being worked on. See, there's no beep or initiation. So let me get the radio away. See, now it works. You put them too close together, and see, now it'll work. So it's intermittent. So you got to keep in mind that these two objects cannot be in close proximity to each other. So we'll go ahead and arm it. So right there, so that's the beeper. I probably ought to go through this. Here, let me go ahead and fly it real quick. I can't wait. So all the way up is arming, and see. All right, beeper, arming. I just blew all my rubber bands everywhere. So we're good to go. Arm it up and all right, too much fun. Let's go ahead and unplug this guy real quick. The other thing, your throttle has to be all the way in the down position. And I know these radios are, I gotta shut this off. I gotta charge this up. I gotta remember to charge this up before the next race. So in the all the way down position, the quadcopter will not arm if this isn't in the all the way down position. Okay. And when we were in Betaflight, we made sure that our all the way down positions were 988. Okay. If you go all the way down and this throttle number in receiver's tab is like 1050 or 1060, then you're going to have to do some more changes. You're going to have to do some more things. I'm not going to get into that in this video, but you want to make sure that your throttle all the way down is like 988. Otherwise, it's not going to arm. And then I have my arming, so that's beeper, and then that's arm. Okay, and then here is my turtle mode. So what you'll do is you'll disarm all switches down. Okay, so air mode off, angle mode, disarmed, and turtle mode off. So if the quadcopter is upside down like so, I can flip the turtle mode on, and then I can arm the quadcopter. And that initiated the turtle mode. And this is the stick. So you push this way, only two let me just go ahead and show you. So we have our quadcopter upside down. We go ahead and initiate turtle mode and arm the quadcopter. And then here, it'll only run two of the motors. Do you see that if I pitch forward, only these two motors will run. If I pitch back, only these two motors. If I pitch to the side, these two motors. But they're running backwards. Okay? Okay? Oop. Don't get that caught in the prop. There we go. So, you get the idea. And then, of course, you can disarm, turn off your turtle mode, rearm. Oops, I had to turn the throttle up too quick. Rearm. I don't know. It's too much fun. I just love it. All right, so unplug that, turn this off. I just thought I would throw something together real quick for you. There were, I think, 2 people that needed to kind of see it done. So if you have any questions or you feel like I missed something here, let me know in comments and I'll try to get something in the description. Or, you know, if it was terrible and you want to thumbs down, you can do that too. But hey, you know, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And, you know, if you hated it, give me a thumbs down. It all works. Enjoy the breeze.